Hello and welcome back to The Elegant Life, a place where I share every single week wisdom on how to live and manifest with feminine energy, confidence, and ease. If that interests you, please do consider subscribing, and if you like this video, make sure you click the like button. All right, let's get on to today's topic. If you've been learning anything about feminine energy, you've probably heard that one aspect of feminine energy is vulnerability. If you've ever followed Bréne Brown, you've probably heard that the power of vulnerability is one of the biggest strengths that anyone can have, and that it is so key for everybody to live an incredible life and have incredible relationships and experiences in life. So I wanted to dive deeper into vulnerability today because I don't think that we really truly understand or have been taught what vulnerability is. What does it look like? How do I be more vulnerable? So I know that for me, when I first learned about vulnerability, it seemed like, oh, okay, so I have to be comfortable enough to share really deep information about me with people. I had to learn to expose myself, to feel comfortable with going there with someone. So whether it be a new friend or a partner, that was the way to be vulnerable. And that is not everything that vulnerability is. Yes, it is one part, being able to share how you feel in the moment. That is part of it. How something that someone said made you feel. Yes, that is part of it. But here are some other things about vulnerability that perhaps you've never considered. When you give someone a compliment that you actually admire, you are being vulnerable. Why? Because now that person knows that you think that highly of them or that you think that way about them. And in a way, it's like you're kind of giving a bit of power to them. Now they know this. And that can make you vulnerable. Shoot, what are they going to think of me? Do they think that I think I'm not enough? Do they think that I'm not confident, that I think that they're better than me? I mean, depends what stories you have going on in your mind, but it is vulnerable to give someone a compliment. So you could go someone to say, wow, that's a beautiful outfit, or you always have such beautiful outfits on. You always look great. Your hair is always good. Yes, you're going to be making them feel so happy. Oh, why? Thank you. And at the same time, you're going to show that you're noticing that about them. That can feel very vulnerable for certain people. And what I would say is that a woman who embodies her feminine energy completely is able to look at another woman and say, wow, I honor you for who you are. I honor you for knowing your signature style. I honor you for being confident enough to show up and wear that, to have that hairstyle, to do that, to say that. I honor that, and I want to acknowledge you for that. That's being vulnerable. Another example of being vulnerable is when you talk about something that you kind of enjoy that might be a little weird, a little gross, or a little nerdy. I know that when I met one of my most special friends in the world from Brazil, she and I started going out for coffee more, and we started becoming more vulnerable. You know, we started opening up about things, and somehow, I can't remember which one of us opened up about blackheads. And we were sharing stories about this, and we were laughing, and we have this insane interest in pores and skin and blackheads. So it was hilarious. We were laughing so hard. And to this day, it's been like over 20 years, I think. We'll still send each other little things about that if a video we come across or whatever. And that is, I mean, even right now, I'm being vulnerable telling you this about myself, even though you might think, oh my God, that is so gross. But that's me being vulnerable. That makes me open to criticism or judgment. But when a woman is in her vulnerability, in her feminine energy, she has this empowered feeling like, I am me. I was created to be this way. And so I love me. And if that person over there judges me or thinks that I'm weird and doesn't want to be with me, then that's just information for me. It's just information that that person is not for me. It's not anything against myself. So you see, being vulnerable connected me with that friend. It was beautiful, and I knew that she was my person. So vulnerability just can come in so many different shapes and sizes. Let me give you another example. If you're in a relationship and you want to deepen that relationship, particularly for a woman, but men are learning this too. When you get vulnerable with your partner, that's when the real connection happens. And it's you being truthful about you. It is not you coming to them and saying, well, this is what you do, and this is what you do, and this is what you made me feel, and this is how you made me feel. It's you saying, this is how I felt when. And I totally own it, and I know this is where it's coming from. And so I'm going to work on that. Can I ask for your help? So, for example, something that your partner did or didn't do triggered you. And you can either in the moment or in a more appropriate moment when they're going to be more able to be present with you, you can simply say, remember when we were having that conversation and you said this? That actually really triggered me. And I thought about where that came from, and it hurt me so deeply because I remember the first time that I was hurt like that, and it just seems like there's this pattern, and I'm going to work on that. Yet, can I ask you to kind of watch how you say that or watch how you word that? Because, while I'm working on that, it's going to take me a bit of time, and I don't want to overreact. So if you could do that for me, that would mean a lot. So if you come to a conversation and you be vulnerable and you say, this happened to me when, and you don't go into victim mode. A woman who has feminine confidence is not a victim. She is someone who has self-awareness. She has someone who owns things and has a perspective that is elegant, which means she always tries to find the learning, the growth, the expansion that she can take from this experience. So she's going to share that with this person and just say, maybe this triggered me and this is what I've learned. This is how I really felt. I'm going to work through this. If you could maybe be gentle with me as I work on this, that would be really helpful. Okay. Or you might even have to say, I need to set a boundary about this. Like this has happened to me and I'm working through it and I'm dealing, but I'm going to have to really say that if you say those kind of things or you need to watch those things, I'm going to have to walk away. I'm going to have to go to another room because right now that is way too triggering for me. This is vulnerability. It's not you attacking. It's you being your soft self, but your strong back self at the same time. Okay, so that's another aspect of vulnerability. And the final one I want to talk about, I think that I have heard in the dating world that if you want to attract a man who has healthy masculine energy, not someone who's just going to be very, very faux masculine, just always into sports, doesn't like to talk, doesn't like to share emotions, doesn't like to watch any chick flicks, as people say. If you don't want that ultra alpha male kind of guy, then you need to just start off with being really vulnerable. So on the first date, a lot of girls, from what I've seen and heard, go in there and they start talking about all of their life baggage, all their traumas, right on the first or second date. Now, for a guy, even if he's in his healthy masculine, that's a lot. Even if you go to a friend and you just meet someone and on the first day you start talking about really deep things and your biggest traumas and how it's affected your life forever, this is a lot for someone to get right away. So let me share with you that being vulnerable, there's steps, there's stages to you doing it. And when you're really deep and you've really got that connection with someone, then you can go deep, deep, deep. But it doesn't mean that you just, being vulnerable means dumping it all on the table. And if they can't handle it, then they're not for me. That's not what it means, okay? So I hope that you can see through these examples what vulnerability is. Yes, it is about being open, but it's also about ownership. This is me. This is who I am. And I own it. And I'm going to maybe set boundaries, or I'm going to have a conversation, or I'm going to accept who I am. But this is what it means. And it's you putting yourself in situations where you feel confident enough to be you, to give someone a compliment, and to ask for what you need. Okay? That's what true vulnerability is. So if you have any questions about vulnerability, or you'd like to know even more, please do put them in the comments below. I would love to speak more about it and maybe give you more examples on it. And I would say that if you'd love to learn more about the feminine energy of vulnerability and all of the other energies of feminine energy that totally and utterly empower you to be the most confident, authentic version of you, then please do check out the link in the description box below for my Elegant Art of Feminine Confidence program. There are 2 options for you that you can go for. You see which one is best for you. And on that note, make it an elegant week, and I'll see you next time.